Friday, October 4th, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. I'm going to show you the October low history and why I'm still expecting more strength because of this very strong historical tendency, but it's not guaranteed ever. But it's been a very good track record. You'll see in just a few minutes. And I cover the stock market indexes first, then very popular futures markets, and that's about it. Today, it's going to be going to my historical research on the October lows. Now, this is our current October, and we're into it a couple of days worth. I will zoom in here a bit and whoop, sorry. Thank you. Very good. Okay. So we've made new lows in the month of October for a couple of weeks, not a lot. I am expecting a move down to 340-ish, and I cannot rule out, and that's not why the top of the green bar is there, but I cannot rule out approximately 510. At this point, I'm not expecting anything worse than that. And then back up again. Why? Because the October lows have, since 1993, done this. 1993, I'm just going to let you look at the detail. You can always pause your video, and back up. So October 8th of 93, October 94, 95, 96, still October of 97, October. Now that's the millennia. So let's just grab it and pull it all the way to the left. And I'll do this about 3 different times, 4 maybe. 01 is September 21st. That's the first time it's not in October. 2001, September 21, there was a low outside the green bar, a little early. Obviously, the market went up, but that's not the issue. I'm looking for a low in October during the green bar. 2002, October. September of 03, September 30th, super close to October. October 04, 05, 06, 07, and 09, 08, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is getting boring. Finally, 2015, we have another September 29th. Again, super close to October. And let's pull it. So we're getting very close to, okay, 2016, November 3rd. I guess that's 4th. Sorry about that. So November 3rd is also, wait a minute. Yeah. I'm not sure. Okay. So number 4, just a couple of days after October, and went up a lot. So 2017, October. Now we start some very spectacular stuff lately. October of 2022 was October 13th, and it was also one of my buy signals, an ER buy signal at the bottom of what turned out to be a very large head and shoulder bottom formation, and it just went crazy. We're still generally going crazy. But October again of last year, major bottom of a significant break, back to historical pretty good support, and up to where we just came from, or we are, because we're very close still to the tops. And again, we started the October research here with, forget it, very tight view. Now back to Ninja and E-mini. Although it's up on the day, it's not up but about 3 points S&P wise, or 31 for the spider, for the E-mini, I'm sorry. But the point is, the high of the day was made very early, and we've dropped off quite a bit. And this is after a fundamental report that came out that was very good on employment. So occasionally I do watch the numbers from a fundamentalist point of view to see how the market's reacting to those fundamental numbers. Very good. Expectation of 150. It came out 254 or 53. And that's a lot more than expected. But look what we got. Up on the day, yes, but nothing great. And all the rally, because of the report, apparently, has been gone bye-bye, pretty much. We've actually been unchanged on the dip. And here's the dip. That was yesterday. Down to yesterday's close right about there. And right there is the dip after the rally high. If we start getting below 57.50, I think this market's going to start to fall apart faster because I think it'll make a new low for the session, not just this morning, which is getting it very close to and gaining downside momentum at the time, the important lows of the last few days, which if they are broken, would make new lows for over 2 weeks, or about 2 weeks. Significant. On a Friday, after we've gotten good news a couple of different times in the last week or two, notably a half a point drop. This market has gone up and down pretty much nowhere. Next chart, Spider. Same kind of thing. We're at the same levels, basically, that we were when it got overbought on September 19th. This is October 4th. So, yeah, that's about right. No, not much of a gain. By the way, if we start to drop, I will start to talk about a top formation, my favorite, a little flat neckline, happens to be a support line, also just pure coincidence. And there's your shoulder getting overbought. The head of the formation is a 3 or 4 day thing. And today, maybe, crossing my fingers, I can't tell you yet, but the timing is right. The prices are right. If it starts to go down, I will bloody murder claim this is the last shoulder high as it is developing near its high within hours. That's how it happens. Next, your 5-minute spider, same story, a little more detail, period. And that formation, if it comes true, is also, by the way, in the QQQ, overbought at the top, not the first shoulder, in a resistance area. All we've done is pop up to resistance again. I think there's a chance that things have fallen. But you guys know I've been bearish here for weeks, and I am starting to get formation to support that besides the overbought and the resistance areas and stuff. So making a low lower than the week's lows, this week's lows, would be great for me. Next, QQQ, 5-minute chart, same thing, detail, that's about it. Need to get below, and real soon here, 477. Then I think we're on the way down for another bit of a break, and we would easily be qualifying for the October low at any point after that. Next, NASDAQ. Bear signal a couple of days ago, Tuesday. Came up today quite a bit, but did not hit our longer-term initial buy stop. The trade we made, we still have on our books. We have an ER3 new short entry yesterday. The scalp made a little bit of money because it's got a little bit of a green trend line there. Could have done a lot better if you're paying attention and lowered the stop late yesterday. You could have done that, locked in a lot better trade, but I'm using defaults unless I say so. And as a result, they would like to be adjusted after the fact, but I can see this during the situation. So would anybody else. Now, the other one, the ER3 overnight, is still on the books where there's our trade line and we're losing some money. Not particularly happy momentarily, but we still have that formation potentially developing. Let's rescale us. Okay, so this could be that shoulder. This is obviously the highest high, and that's the shoulder. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. No big deal. It has to be now. It has to be pretty much today. Don't want any higher highs. Formation looking good if we start to make new lows. Next chart. The YM, sort of the same thing, but not very good because it's pretty flat. Nevertheless, overbought at the top. Unfortunately, no signal at the high day or on the way down after a couple of days after the high day. And here's your detail. So what? Next, we got the Russell. We could have, well, nothing in particular. Maybe a little bit more strength, and it wouldn't bother me whatsoever. I wouldn't want that. I'm looking for new lows, and it's been cooperating very nicely. The Russell's been coming down pretty good after the major resistance overbought condition. Unfortunately, no particular signal there. I remind you, we got the bottom to the exact day. We got that low really, really nicely. That one didn't work. Next, Russell detail. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bonds and notes are just doing fabulous today. My bond has dropped to new lows for 2 months, and yesterday broke out of this head and shoulder top that I was detailing for the last 3 days, at least maybe 4. And this is exactly what I'm thinking the stock market indexes are about to do on a little bit smaller scale, because this pattern took about month and a half, 2 months to develop. And in the interest rate futures, we're talking, what was it, 2 weeks, maybe 3? Pretty small. So I'm on my way down to my green circle. Explanation point. The notes get even better. Plus the head and shoulder top, which is part of a kind of a sloppy double top formation, downside objective, bottom of the green circle, basically. Head and shoulder top, a little smaller inside the double top. Breakout yesterday, downside move, we're already halfway down to its minimum downside objective, which is in the green circle. Not quite as low as I'm looking for, but certainly good enough. So pretty much anything below 120, I'm going to be real happy. And this is 122.02 at the moment. Call it 122. Next, 10-year notes. Now, I'm going to go back to bonds real quick, and I didn't talk about this in bonds, but it's the same thing. I have mentioned that this low in October of 22, I think maybe is a shoulder, and this is another shoulder. The low of the market, which we bought because of an ER buy signal smack dab at the bottom of the bond market a year ago, has stood the time, stress of time. So that's the bottom. And another shoulder, a little sloppy because it contains 3 little bottoms, but it's approximately the right place on the average price-wise and around the right timing, which I think would have been June, early June. Also, and it caused a rally which stopped here in overbought condition. That new high, which turns out to be the head of a small head and shoulder top, which has now had its trigger pulled yesterday and dropped like a rock today. And I said yesterday, usually you get 1, 2, maybe 3 down days that are fairly sizable, and here it is on the way down, or breakouts of patterns in general, but particularly head and shoulder is my favorite pattern. So the point I'm making is great. Right on track with interest rate futures as far as my expectations are concerned in my analysis. So let's try to stay that way. And here's a bit of a detail now, moving from a larger perspective. High in notes. No, I went back to bonds. That's fine. Let's go to notes. Shoulder, October, and then March of 23. Head, which turned out to be a small head and shoulder by itself. I'm sorry, they just appear all over the place for me. I see them fairly easily, and that's a good thing because I know how to handle them. Now, that one worked great. A little suspicious the way it was working out, but not much. And good trade. First of the last 2 shoulders, low, okay, and a little bit double. Had a signal in there that worked for a day, not much, but still, profit to be made. That was the shoulder. It's sloppy. It's got little 3 parts. Now, what if I'm right and I'm on the right track so far? We do get into the green circle, and it does bottom out approximately the middle of October, but anytime, pretty much any time now, because I've already made a new low for 2 months. This is a new low for 2 months. If I turn up from here, I will have an October low just a lot higher than I was expecting. But now the head and shoulder top formation, which is part of a nice looking double top in the notes, has been working great yesterday in a big move. And we are short ER1 overnight and ER3 also overnight, both with standard kickers. And the 2 green lines indicate that. Let's just slide here to the right somewhat. I'll leave the green circle in and expand so you can see the details. Sold a high day, ER1 overnight. ER3 picked up a new short, and not quite at the high of the rally the next day, but it was the highest high since. Dropped at the sideways, and then dropped again. Great. I'm loving this one. Next chart. Crude. Now overbought. Middle of a big old pennant. Lot of technical resistance up and down all over the damn place. There's a chance it could hit this bear trend line and the resistance area soon, but that's quite a bit of a stretch. It's overbought right now, and it could flip-flop back down somewhat. Since we're looking at an ambiguous, very long-term trend, big sideways trading range, basically, if it can make new lows lower than the low in September, then we probably have a much lower level coming up after that in months to come for a long-term bear market continuation. A little bit tricky right in here. So I am looking for flip-flop back down soon, but maybe a bit more rally. Next chart is a bearish engulfing natural gas sell signal today. Brand new. Ladies and gentlemen, we got one at the bottom on a double bottom formation, the second low on August 28th, point blank. And a little complementary couple of signals after that. But the point is, now we've gotten all the way back up to this major bear trend line, and it looked like we broke out of the resistance to the upside, especially yesterday's new high close, but not above previous highs. Remember, I don't like that. That's very suspicious for me. And then today we busted through on the upside, but all of a sudden the floor fell out of it. We have an outside down day, bearish engulfing, covering the new high for the trend and two previous lows, 2 previous days worth of lows. And we're near low and last right now. Could make it even lower. This is a top, I think. And I'm looking for now a move down to probably at least 2.586. And probably in the line of testing these lows we have seen so far. Again, keeping in mind the longer trend change here, or trend, it is Tierra del Fuego down. So I got basically a signal at the bear trend line. Great combination. I know it's a little bit lower than the trend line, but not too much. Okay, heating oil. Overbought, showing no signs of topping out. But beware, when you're overbought and you're back up into price ranges where it bottomed out before, now because you're going up to it, it becomes a resistance. Watch out. Now, the little area I pinpointed didn't work. It went right up to it and through it in 2 days. But the next one could be reached and work at 2.45. And I can't rule out even something a little bit higher than that. We'll see what happens. Brand new sell signal in gold. Outside down day, bearish engulfing within the number of days of looking back for overbought conditions. And this could be, I would love it to be the beginning of a move down to at least the ballpark of $2,560 an ounce, a troy ounce. And a little bit lower than that would be a little bit more support, a little bit more, and so on. So let's get down there first. And if we break below the support at 25.60.70, then we'll talk about significantly lower after that. Silver made a new high on the way up today, but is now trading lower by a tick than yesterday's close. Call it unchanged. So resistance seems to be stopping it, including a significant factor here. We're real close to the highs made back in May. So if this turns down and I don't have any reversal yet, it just looks very suspicious. We could have a broad double top, big bearish pattern. Maybe. Don't jump the gun. The first longer term bearish activity would be closing below 31.0, 3110. And we're 32.45 at the moment. So ways to go. Down on the day just a touch. Gosh, that really does look interesting. Next, platinum. Boring. Inside doji, resistance is stopping it. Unfortunately, no sell signal. Too bad. Didn't get overbought in the last couple of weeks or so. Yeah, it did as it was starting to top out, if that's what it's doing. I can't really say. I'm going to pass on platinum as I've done for a couple of days now. High grade copper, sell signal at the top of the market, and an exit because of the way that it acted that day on a long position from the bottom of the market on September 5th. Yeah, 5th. So we got the low day on a double bottom, sort of close to it on the first low, and we got out on the high so far. Now, yesterday was almost bearish engulfing. The high was one tick lower than Wednesday's high, yesterday, Thursday. And therefore, if it would have gone, didn't do it, two ticks higher, we would have a bearish engulfing red signal again. But we got the top so far. Now we're up a little bit today. Doji, don't mind it fiddling around for a couple days or less. But real soon here, next week, early next week, I'm looking for it to make lower lows and hopefully below one, yeah, call it 1.5. And that's going to make a new low for about a week plus, and we should be on the way down on that copper trade. Great. Next chart. Now we're looking into soybeans, oil meal, corn, wheat, cattle, hogs, and checking interest rate future, on the mind, stock indexes in the last few minutes. And it's been 22, so I should speed it up a little. So, beans, you all know that I'm trying to justify some bullish bottom in grains in general, but I don't seem to be able to justify it. We're rallying basically back up to resistance areas, or not even getting there and turning down. This is a new low for 5 days. It's not particularly disastrous at the moment, but it's on the verge of being convincingly topping out. New low for a week and a half might do the trick for some people. And the trend hasn't changed. I'm sorry, I just can't come up with anything but dribbling off to the downside. But I do have in the back of my mind that something might longer term develop because of really, really, really low levels. Okay, next chart. We made a new high and did get overbought today in soybean oil. Now, we had a sell signal a few days ago. It worked a little bit. We made some short-term trades that worked out very nicely. We're out. This one could develop into another sell signal if it gets below yesterday's low, which it has not done yet. That's why we're not red yet, and it may not happen. So don't jump the gun. It's down 34 ticks at the moment, which is nice, near the low, which is nice, but you got some support starting around where we are a little bit lower. It could turn itself into a little bit of a double top, sort of, but this is all premature. Looking for a turn down. I like the overbought situation today and the other potentials, and the fact that we're in a broader area where it's topped out before many times. Soybean meal. I already did it. Now, this is one of those bass backwards I keep mentioning, reversals. This is an overbought condition. It would have been better if it was in support resistance, but it's an outside up day. That means it got lower than the previous day's low and higher than the previous day's high and closed higher than the previous close. And that is an outside up day or a bullish engulfing, and a little minor adjustment, my customized version of it, in an overbought condition. Because of that, I oftentimes say, watch out, that could be a top, and I can't say anything much more. I don't know how to handle it very well. I just seen it often enough. Well, new low since then. It's been 2-3 days. So far, that came true. So I'm looking for a little bit lower. Big sideways range here. Bearish in almost all the grains. Meal seems to be holding up the best. Next chart. Corn. Bear trend to say the least. And that's 3 years. Usually have in daily data. Yeah, 3 years basically. So are we starting something bullish longer term? I can't tell yet. Simply got overbought at the top of resistance zone and is turning down. Second day down. Probably going to slip off to at least 413, and I won't rule out, well, totally making new lows. Next, we're looking at wheat up to resistance, overbought, stopped right there, classic spot. Today is the first decent day down. We're now making new lows on a closing basis, likely for the previous 2 days. So for a third day, I need to close below, okay, 572 and 3/4 in order to trigger off some more selling, I would expect. And then if we break below this little bull trend line of sorts, I don't think that's particularly relevant anymore. I thought we were having a little bit of top. That's why I left it in there. That did not work out. So resistance, overbought, turn down, test of support, probable 563. Cannot rule out a new low below 520. Cattle, overbought, looking a little bit toppy here, kind of a doji. New high yesterday didn't hold, closed very poorly, but no reversal. And today we're just coming back up some, but no new highs, no new high close. Keep an eye out on this because it bumped against resistance in overbought conditions. If we start seeing new lows for any number of days here, I'm going to start talking about it coming off even more. And Miss Piggy, sell signal didn't work, up against resistance, overbought a couple of days ago. I am expecting it to turn down. If we do get below yesterday's lows, we will turn red for a sell signal, but we don't have that yet. Okay, E-mini, where are we? Up 3 points, still floundering around about where we were. And here's the 5-minute. You guys have a great weekend. Let's watch for the October lows. I'll keep you informed very tightly and accurately. Profitable trading to you.